Hey everybody, I'm Eric Worrell here with RentPrep.com, and we have Andrew Schultz, an associate broker with Realty Edge. He manages over 120 doors, and he's going to help us answer some questions from our Facebook group. How you doing today, Andrew?
Good. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am doing swell, and we got a good question for you today, and this comes from Shannon. She asked this, and she said, I have a new tenant, and first month's rent is due. She texted me, and she said rent due date doesn't coincide with her paydays, and she has to learn to get in the save mode, so she is going to pay half now and half on her next payday. According to my records, she just got paid, and it will take 2 weeks before she gets paid again. Do any of you collect rent in 2 payments? This is a violation of my lease, so my thoughts would be to change the lease and make it a month-to-month lease instead of a year and add different due dates. It is my nicest rental, and I'm renting it below market rate, so I don't really feel like struggling to get the rent every month. So what are your thoughts on this, Andrew? When you hear this, what are you thinking?
I would just give a pay or quit notice, and that's the end of the discussion. I mean, if she's coming up with excuses why she can't pay rent I'm guessing the second month. I'm assuming that the tenant's already moved in, so this will be month 2. Mm-hmm. If the tenant's coming up with excuses in month 2, pay or quit notice as soon as you're legally able to. I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't delay, and I wouldn't listen to excuses. She knew when the rent was due when she signed the lease. It's the tenant's responsibility to make sure the rent is on time. And I mean, let's assume that she's got this home is leveraged, that she's got a mortgage on it. Uh-huh. Is your mortgage company going to give you the option of splitting,
Sure.
Oh, can I make half my mortgage payment now and half my mortgage payment next week when I get paid again?
I think that's a great thing to bring up if you're Shannon in this situation. You feel uncomfortable saying no. You can just say, hey, look, my mortgage company's not going to let me do this either. So
right.
I think one of the issues that some of the landlords run into is they give the inch and then the tenant takes a mile. So especially
That's
this
exactly
early,
what this situation is.
This early in the relationship, if you already are giving conceding to your rules on your lease to them, I don't think it's going to be a healthy relationship a year from now either.
Right. And I mean, it happens. We actually have one this month. The tenant moved in. We're in November now. So they moved in October, and their November rent is late. And I charged them their late fee and was out there yesterday and served them, Monday. Was out there Monday and served them their 3-day pay or quit notice. Mm-hmm. It's just, there's a zero tolerance policy on our rent collection procedure. And as part of that, if you're not making your rent payment on time in month 2, that's a pretty big red flag. So
sure.
Yeah, I would definitely hop on that sooner rather than later.
And when you serve that pay or quit notice, how do you do that? You just send that through regular mail?
So the way we have to do them in New York is you have to either personally serve it to the tenant, or you have to do what's called a nail-in mail. You have to post it on the door, and you have to mail it both certified and first class to each tenant individually. So if you have, say, a husband and a wife, you have to name each one of them individually, and then you send a third to all other occupants. So that covers your John and Jane Does that you don't know have moved into the apartment and stuff like that. Uh-huh. So it's actually it's a pretty in-depth procedure. So it's every tenant plus all others, certified and first class. So, I mean, if you have 2 tenants, that's 6 letters you're sending out. 3 certified, 3 first class. And you have to go and post it on the door if you can't personally serve it to the tenant.
Okay, and what do you usually do then?
As far as...
Do you personally serve it, or do you end up going with the effort?
We try. I collect all my 3-day notices that I have to serve, and I just go out and serve them all in one day. Mm-hmm. I knock. If the tenant's home, I serve them personally. If the tenant's not home, I post it and mail it.
Okay.
And honestly, even if I personally serve them, I still do the mailing anyway.
And then do you charge back those mailing costs to them?
Yeah, it's included in our lease that becomes an additional an added rent. If we have to serve notice, that any notice, the cost of any notice service plus the cost of the mailing is added to the tenant's ledger as an additional rent.
Well said. I think that puts the button on it, as they say. Yep. I don't think people really use that saying a lot, but I do. So, well, again, thank you, Andrew, for your time and explanation on this. I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's a tough thing to do sometimes. But again, save yourself the agony down the road by doing something now. Take action now. If you got an issue with the tenant, we don't want to see you, getting late rent for 6 months. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then it turns into a forum post or a group post about why what do I do now? How do I evict?
Yeah, they haven't paid in like 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.